Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Saha viryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamaya Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Antaryascha Bahirvidhutatimiram Jyotirmayam Shashwatam Sthanam Prapya Virajate Vinamatam Ajnanamunmulayan Pashyan Vishwamapi Damullasatiyo Vishwasya Pare Paraha Tasmai Shri Ramanaya Loka Gurave Shokasya Hantre Namaha. Okay, we'll chant from verse number 17. 17. Okay, ready? 17, it's on my page 53. So for you, it's what page?
49.
49. Okay. Manasam tu kim margane krite Naiva manasam marga arjavat Vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha Vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha Aipatatyaham nija vicharanam Ahaminashabhat yahamaham taya Spurati ritsvayam paramapurnasat. Okay, so we are in the realm of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga. And what is Jnana Yoga all about? We see that in the paths of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, it's all about purifying the mind. Saying that I have a mind and I need to know what to do with my mind, how to purify it and how to transcend it. So in Karma Yoga, the mind is purified through selfless service and through acceptance with gratitude and grace. In Bhakti Yoga, the mind is purified through devotional practices like puja, japa, chintanam. In Ashtanga Yoga, the mind is purified through asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, the eightfold limbs of yoga. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So it is purified through that. But in Jnana Yoga, we don't take the mind and say, how do I purify it? We take the mind and say, is there a mind? We question the very existence of the mind. We take the mind and say, is this really there? And Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji says, when we ask, Manasam tu kim margane krite, is there a mind? Neva manasam, we find that there is no mind. And this is the direct path. He further goes to say that the mind is made up of two thoughts, the I thought and the object thought. I thought is a thought of the ego, which is relatively there, and the objects keep changing. I'm seeing the ground, I'm seeing the microphone, I'm seeing the book, I'm seeing the table. The objects keep changing. The actions keep changing. I am speaking, I am sitting, I am closing my eyes, but that ego remains relatively the same. And that ego is known as the I thought. The I thought. So really, if we want to come to what the essence of the mind is, it's the I thought. The I thought. It's the ego. Because all the object thoughts are dependent on the I thought. Now, what do we do with this I thought? Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji says, inquire into the source of the I thought. Where is this I thought rising from? What is giving power to this I thought? Where does it appear from? Where does this appear into? And when we start to inquire into the nature of the I thought, we will find that the I thought or the ego, it falls. I patatyaham. The I thought, the ego, it falls. Because it's not a real entity. It's an illusory entity. So when we keep prying into it, we will find that there's nothing there. This ego, which is the cause of all of our sorrow, is actually an illusion. It's the biggest illusion that there ever is. And when we start questioning into that illusion, the ego cannot stand it, it dissolves. This is known as vichara or inquiry. This is the path of Jnana Yoga. The question comes, why do I want my ego to dissolve? What's the problem? Why can't I have an ego? Because all our problems in life are related to the ego. When we take ourselves to be this individual, this ego, this entity, Shubhani, then all we want to do is strive to make this ego complete, happy, peaceful. But guess what? That's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. Because we're trying to satisfy the ego with the happiness of the world, which is absolutely temporary. It is not permanent, it is not lasting. So our whole lives we're trying to satisfy the ego with all the temporary happiness that there is in the world. And we strive for something and we don't become fulfilled, we strive for something else. We don't become fulfilled, we strive for something else. And this ego goes on and on and on, striving for so many things, but never finding its completeness. It'll never be happy. That individual will never ever have permanent happiness. That ego will never have it. On the other hand, when we dissolve that ego into the self, when we realize I am not an individual, I am infinite. I do not need to search for happiness. I am the very source of joy itself. I do not need to go anywhere. I already am what I am. Then life is very relaxing. We're not tensed. This is the whole time when we take ourselves to be the ego and we're chasing the world, we constantly tense because we're constantly anxious because we want to get something to make us feel complete, to make us feel whole. And if we don't get it, then we face so much sorrow. So the whole time we're anxious, we're stressed, we're under pressure, we're attached to certain things. Because if I don't get that, how will I find my joy? If I don't achieve that, how will I find my joy? If my children don't get to somewhere, how will I find my joy? And when we depend on others for our joy, we control them. We tend to control them. We get attached to them and we drive everybody crazy. And we live life under pressure, under strain, under anxiety. This is all because why? We are identifying with that ego. when we let the ego go, we go beyond the ego and realize I am not this ego, I am already what I need, then our interactions with people will be so much more powerful and beautiful. Because all we're looking to do is to give, to serve, to love. We're not looking, what can I get from this person to make me happy? What can this person do for me? What can this place do for me? We're not thinking about that and being anxious and figuring out if we're going to get the result or not. Because we are already full. We're just ready to do whatever we can to help, to give, to love, to serve. It's much more relaxing. This is what freedom from the ego is. It's a very peaceful life. So family life will go on, and it should go on, but it'll go on how? Relaxed. Work life will go on. How will it go on? Relaxed. Because we're free from that constant pressure to shine, to boost the ego, to make ourselves rise. We're free from that pressure of becoming. And we enter into the realm of just being. This is why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshiji says, free yourselves from that ego. It's the cause of all sorrow. And as long as we have the ego, sorrow will be there. It's unavoidable. Unavoidable. They go together. They go together. Now he goes a little bit deeper. A question comes about the world. When the ego dissolves and I lose my individuality, what happens to the world around me? Here now we will see the next verse, verse number 21. 21. I'll chant and then please repeat after me. Idamaham padabhikyamanvaham ahamilina pyalaya sattaya. Together. Idamaham padabhikyamanvaham ahamilina pyalaya sattaya. So what does this verse say? Idam. Idam here means this self. Aham pada abhikyam, which is indicated by the word aham. Aham, this self, which is indicated by the word aham. Anu aham. When the individual dissolves, ahamilina ke api, the total also dissolves or merges. Why? Allaya sattaya, due to the indestructible nature of the self. Following the merger of the individual I in pure consciousness, the total I also merges. This self, which is known as a true I, shines due to its indestructible nature. What happens? When our individuality dissolves, totality also dissolves. Because individuality and totality are complementary. They're complementary. So see here, the waker. I am the waker right now, and I have this entire waking world with me. When I go to dream state, I become the dreamer, correct? So the waker now becomes the dreamer. Do I take the waking world with me? No. There's another world now. It's a dream world. So the individual waker and the waking world, it merged into the dreamer and the dream world. Yes? When I go to deep sleep, what happens? The dreamer merges into the deep sleeper. Dreamer is not there anymore, right? You are now the deep sleeper. And what happens to the dream world? It's now a blankness. It's not there. So in each state, we have the three states, the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep. As the individual is getting merged into the next stage, the totality also gets merged into the next stage. So I, the waker, my whole waking world, it just dissolves in dream. I, the dreamer, my whole dream world, it dissolves in deep sleep. And I, the deep sleeper, and the deep sleep blankness, it dissolves again when I go into waking. This identity, this dissolution of my individuality and totality proves that it is just changing. These things are just appearing. They're just appearing. And what is the one substratum where they are appearing in? They are appearing in consciousness. Consciousness here is called alaya. Alaya means because it doesn't dissolve. Consciousness is always there. One Swami gave an example. It's like one person first wears a orange shirt, takes it out, and then wears a blue shirt, and then takes it out, and then wears a red shirt, and then takes it out. The shirts come off and on, but the person is always there, right? In the same way, consciousness is always there. It's always there. But you, the waker, are not always there. The waking world is not always there. You, the dreamer, are not always there. The dream world is not always there. You, the deep sleeper, are not always there, and the deep sleep blankness is not always there. There's just one reality that remains, and that is you. That is your true nature. And owning up to this, understanding this, we become free of the pressure, tension, the attachment to the world and our ego. Now in the next verse, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji tells us how to do this inquiry a little deeper, so it becomes clearer to our minds. Okay? We're going to go now to verse number 22. Verse number 22. Vigrahendriya pranadhitamaha nahamekasat tajjadam hyasat. Together. Vigrahendriya pranadhitamaha nahamekasat tajjadam hyasat. Here is a verse that describes how inquiry should be conducted. Verse 22. He says Vigraha. Vigraha means body. Vigraha, body. Indriya means senses. Prana means the energy that governs our physiological functions. This is prana, energy. Dhi here means mind and intellect. Tamaha, ignorance. All of these, he says, na aham. I am not all of these. Who am I? Ekasat. I am that one reality, and all of these are tad jadam. They are inert and asat. Asat means not absolutely real. I am the one existence and not the body, senses, vital airs, and intellect and ignorance, as they are inert and indeed non-existent. Okay, so let us first understand this word inert, jada. I am consciousness. All of this is inert I am existence, all of this is apparently existing. So let's make those differences to come to who we are. When we look at first the body, yeah, everybody is experiencing the body. Yes, everybody is experiencing the body. So body is what we call an object of our experience. We're experiencing it. Yeah. Now, does the body have the capability to say I'm in pain or I'm comfortable? Is the body able to say that? We are the ones who say that, right? So in order for this body to be experienced, something has to reveal it. Body is not self-revealing. If I don't experience the body, I don't have any notion of the existence of the body. If I do not experience the body, if it's not backed up by my experience, I don't have any notion of the body. There's no notion of the body without me experiencing it. Yeah? So the body is an object of experience. The body is something that is not self-revealing. It requires consciousness to reveal it. Because it requires consciousness to reveal it, the body is called impermanent. It's called impermanent. Why? Because when I don't experience it or have the notion of it, I have no sense of the body. If I'm involved in something else, I have no notion of I'm the body. I don't even remember I have a body. I forget the body. So this is actually impermanent. And what to talk of when we go to another state? When we go to dream state, we all have different bodies. We have a dream body. And not only is this impermanent, but this body is dependent, dependently existing. Meaning without consciousness, I cannot ascertain the existence of my body. If A cannot be without B, then A is B. If body cannot be without consciousness, then body is inherently consciousness. So in Sanskrit, we say this expression, yad drishyam tad jadam. First I'll say it and then I will explain. Yad drishyam tad jadam. Yad jadam tan nashwaram. Yad nashwaram tan mithya. So that which is an object of experience, drishyam, is jada. It needs to be revealed by something else. It cannot reveal itself. That which is revealed by something else is nashwara. It's impermanent. Because when it's not revealed, we don't have the existence of it. We don't have the sense of existence of it. And that which is impermanent is actually mithya. It's apparently existing, dependently existing. And therefore, we call this body illusory. Illusory. It is there. Nobody's denying that. Means we have an experience of the body that's there. We all experience it. But is that absolute reality? That's what we are questioning. Is it absolute reality? Because if it was absolute reality, it would always be there. It would always be experienced. And you wouldn't be able to be without it. Can you be without your body? Yeah. Yeah, you can. Right? In dream, you're without your body. Right? How do people have out of the body experience? Right? That's a direct proof. Now we come to subtler, which is the mind. Mind is an object of our experience. Yeah? Everybody's experiencing their mind. Yes? You're aware of your mind. And also, the thoughts in the mind are not self-revealing. They don't know themselves. Do thoughts know themselves? They require us to reveal them. They cannot reveal themselves. Thoughts cannot think themselves. And thoughts cannot definitely think about us. It requires consciousness to reveal it. And because of that, thoughts are impermanent. They're impermanent. They come and they go. They're not always there. There are times when we could be completely thoughtless. So thoughts are impermanent. Impermanent. And they are dependently existing. They are existing dependent on consciousness. Without consciousness, there's no sense of thought. No thought can exist. Because of that, we say that these thoughts are apparently existing. We experience them, but they are apparently existing. So like this, if we take our body, if we take our mind, our intellect, we take all of these different things and examine one by one, we will find that all of them, each of them, need to be revealed by consciousness for us to ascertain their existence. Now, so we saw the word jada. Jada meaning that they are inert, they are objects of experience, but I am the self. So body, mind are objects. I am that which is the subject. Now we're going to see the word asat. Asat means that the body, mind, intellect, all of these things are not absolutely real. Why? What is reality in Vedanta? Reality in Vedanta is that which is there as it is in the 3 periods of time. That's one definition, first definition. Second definition of reality is that which is independently existing. It's independent. Third definition of reality, reality is that which is non-negatable. It cannot be negated. You can't negate it at any point in time. Now take the body, right? Has the body remained the same? Throughout our lives, we have seen that the body keeps changing. Even throughout, from yesterday to today, how much the body would have changed? Temperature-wise, inside the digestion, everything would have changed, isn't it? The body is constantly changing from when we were young to when we were teenagers to now, constantly changing. From yesterday to today, the body is constantly changing. From waking to dream to deep sleep, the body changes. Amidst all of those changes of the body, which body are you? Which one are you? Are you the young body, baby body, the teenage body, the young professional body? Or are you the now body? We are the one that's apart from the body, who is aware of all of the changes of the body. Body has changed, but I am changeless. Body is also, as we saw, it is dependent on consciousness for it to be revealed, experienced. But I can be without my body. And the body is negatable. Because when we go to dream, this gross body that we identify so much with is completely negated in the dream state. Therefore, we call it asat. It is experienced, but it is not absolute reality. It's experienced, but it's not absolute reality. The same with the mind. The thoughts keep on changing, one after the other, one after the other. So which thought are you? Are you the happy thought, the sad thought, the calm thought, the disturbed thought? Which thought are you? We are the one that knows and is aware of all thoughts. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. They have nothing to do with you and I. We are the one that's aware of the thoughts, the witness of the thoughts. That's our nature. Thoughts are changing, but I am changeless. Thoughts are dependent on consciousness, but consciousness is independent. Thoughts cannot be without consciousness. Consciousness can be without thoughts. Thoughts are negatable. As we said, there are some times where we can completely have no thoughts. But consciousness is never negatable. I always have the sense that I am. I am. With or without thoughts, I am there. With or without my body, I am there. So this mind is called asat, experienced, but not actually there. Same with the ego. That whole ego, which is just the notion that I am Shubhani or I am this individual, that ego takes on so many roles and so many identities, isn't it? Takes so many roles, so many identities, so many things it takes upon itself. It keeps changing. Who is aware of it? Consciousness. And that ego is dependent on consciousness. It's illumined by consciousness. Consciousness is independent of it. That ego is negatable. When we start questioning, prying into this ego, you will see it actually dissolve. There's no fluff there. There's nothing there. But the self is ever there. So the ego is called asat. These things, the body, mind, the intellect, the ego, that complex, being an object of experience and being something that's changing and dependent, being something that's negatable, this is not our real nature, Vedanta says. But our real nature is the subject, that which is changeless, which remains as it is, which is independent, which is non-negatable. That is our real nature. What happens when we start to identify with the body? Then the whole dharma of the body comes upon us. The body is sick, we feel sick. The body is short, tall, we feel short, tall. The body is thin or fat, we feel thin or fat. We identify with all the insecurities of the body. And we're taken for a ride. We're taken for a ride for something that we are not. The minute we say, I am the body, the whole dharma of the body comes to us. And then we go on this mad chase for trying to perfect the body. Thinking that if I buy this cosmetic, I look better. If I go in this diet, then I will feel better. If I do this, then I will be better. Then my body will look great and I will feel great. Think again. Something else will come up. So our whole attention, the minute I identify with my body, all the dharmas of the body come to me, and my whole attention, my whole pursuit in life is what? What do I do with my body? Which is why there's so many cosmetic industries, so many clothes industries, where everybody's obsessed with the body. That's it. The minute I take my mind to be myself, that's it. I become incredibly moody, up and down. I go into so many worlds, so many modes of thinking. Why? Because I have taken myself to be my mind. And my whole purpose then is how to make my mind calm, how to make it steady, how to make it stable. we try to perfect the mind. But the mind is not made to be perfect. It's made to be pure and then to transcend it. When we identify with these things, not only we take up the whole dharma of these things, but our entire time, our entire attention, our entire pursuit goes only on this. I take myself to be the ego. The whole agenda will be how to make my ego shine. I should always be right. I should be perfect. I should be on top. I should achieve. I should set a good example. And along with all that I need to be, I have to be, there's so much stress and so much pressure and so much anxiety and so much adharma also. There's so much adharma because we do things to try to protect our ego instead of really seeing what other people need. Take the dharma onto ourselves, and then all the attention goes there. What Vedanta says is, look beyond all of these things. These things are not going to go away. Doesn't mean that if I realize the self, the body will go away or the mind will go away. No. Once the self is realized, as we saw, the notion I am the body will go away. The notion I am the mind will go away. The notion I am the ego will go away. And when these notions go away, then there's so much more relaxation in what we do. Because we perform dharma at the level of action, which we should do. We stick to our dharma at the level of action, but our vision is very different. Our vision is we're working from a place of fulfillment. We're not working for joy, but we're working out of joy, from joy. And because we're working from joy, we are relaxed. We're parenting from joy, not for joy. Parenting for joy, what is it? Trying to control the kids and make them to be what you want them to be. Parenting from joy is, I am fine, I am complete, I will do my dharma to the best of my abilities and let go. I'll surrender the anxiety, surrender the worry, surrender the tension. Because I'm not dependent on my child's happiness for my happiness. I have found it. There's a difference. This is the difference. It is leading a life with relaxation versus leading a life with tension. It's leading a life with peace versus leading a life with so much agitation. Leading a life with freedom versus leading a life with over-aggrandizement and desire. This is the inquiry that we all have to conduct. Right? Okay, we'll take up one more verse and then we'll see if anybody has questions. Verse number 23. Sattvabhasika chikvavetara sattaya hi chit chittaya hyaham. Together. Sattvabhasika chikvavetara sattaya hi chittaya yaham. It says here, Kwa va itara chit. Where is there another consciousness? Kwa va, meaning is there. Kwa va is there. Itara, another consciousness. Sattvabhasika, the illuminator of existence. And the answer is no, because Sat Chittaya hi chit. Existence is consciousness. Chittaya hi aham. And consciousness, I am. Is there another consciousness which illumines existence? There is not. Because existence is consciousness and consciousness, I am. From the previous verse, it's become a little bit more clear to us that the ego is illusion. And we have come to understand that our nature is Sat Chit, existence and consciousness. Existence, Sat, means absolute reality, unchanging, independent, non-negatable, and Chit, awareness. So we have come to understand that this is our nature. Now, is there a difference between the two? Or are they the same thing? Am I Sat and Chit? Or is Sat and Chit the same thing? Is existence different from consciousness, or is existence consciousness itself? And what he says here is they're the same thing. It's just looking at it from a different standpoint. When we look at it from the standpoint of being changeless, we look at it through the sense of Sat. When we look at it from the standpoint of awareness, we see it from Chit. They're both the same thing, Sat and Chit, just looking at it from different standpoints. If they were different, what would happen? If existence was different from consciousness, then what is different from existence is non-existence. Correct? And then consciousness would be non-existent because it's different from existence. Correct? But clearly I have the sense that I am aware all the time. If consciousness was different from existence, now what is consciousness? What is opposite to consciousness? Inertness. Inertness, being an object of experience. If existence is different from consciousness, then existence would be inert, unconscious. But literally, I know that I am, and I know that I am aware. These are the two most spontaneous and most natural things in our life. Nobody can deny this. Everybody knows you are. Everybody, and to say that I am, I have to be aware. Correct? And if somebody asks you, how do you know you are? How do you know you are there? And let's say we're in a dark room and somebody asks you, how do you know you are there? Do you have to turn on the light to know you're there? Do you have to ask somebody, are you there? You just know. The most intrinsic, the most natural thing to us is actually existence and consciousness. It's the most intrinsic thing, the most natural to us. I am Sat, I am Chit. We're just coming at it from different angles. That's all. And we normally hear three things: Sat, Chit, Ananda, right? Existence, consciousness, bliss. So some might ask, where's the Ananda factor here? Ananda is to tell us that it's an infinite existence. It's an infinite consciousness. Ananda comes from Ananta. Ananta means infinite. So there's only one infinite existence, one infinite consciousness. That's our nature. That's what he's trying to point to in the path of Jnana Yoga. As I said, why? So we can be free from this roga. We call it bhava roga. What is bhava roga? The disease of becoming. We can be free from disease of becoming. I have to become this, I have to become that, I have to become this, I have to become that. That is called the disease of becoming, which we are all plagued with. When we are free of this disease, then we are just being. Just being. And everything happens through us beautifully because it is free from ego. Okay? I'll stop here. see if anybody has any questions or any thoughts you want to share. Yeah.
How do you stop yourself from like, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be happy. You know, it's like human, this thing. How to control that?
So her question is how to stop oneself from this thought pattern. If I get this, I will be happy. If I get that, I will be happy. How do you stop that thought pattern? Vichara, again, inquiry. Huh? What is the inquiry? Where exactly is happiness coming from? Just examine this. We experience a nice object, okay? A nice object, let's say a nice sweet. Now, is the happiness coming from that sweet? No, it's not coming from there, because that sweet, it will make somebody else sick. Not everybody will become happy by that sweet. People might be allergic to it, right? So what you think is happiness here, the other person says that that doesn't make me happy. That's going to cause me an allergy, an infection. I don't want that, right? So clearly when we see that that sweet is not the cause of happiness, because if it was, everybody would be happy by that sweet. Correct? Then that sweet, I might like it now, but 2 years later, I don't like it anymore. My best friend said, oh, I remember you like this sweet. Oh, I don't like it anymore. Huh? So that which was the cause of my happiness is now the cause of my sadness. Now what will I do? She gave me the sweet. I don't know what to do with it. Huh? So that is not, there's no happiness there. Where is the happiness coming from? If I am having happiness or feeling happiness in the sweet, first of all, it's not in the sweet. And then it's not in my tongue either, correct? But I am feeling happiness when the sweet touches my tongue, when I have an experience. When I have an experience, it's not in the object, it's not in the sense, but when I have an experience, I am feeling the happiness. Meaning, where is the happiness coming from? It's coming from my mind. It's coming from my own mind. When I'm connecting with this, I am feeling happy. And what makes the experience of happiness possible in the mind? Consciousness. It's consciousness alone. What we are experiencing is actually consciousness. That's all we're experiencing. That happiness is not coming from there, it's coming from consciousness. Another way to look at this is, when do we experience happiness with an object most? Just think. We experience happiness with an object most when we renounce it. When we renounce it. Now I'll take back the experience of that cake. Nice sweet cake you're eating. Tell me when you are the most happy. When you get the cake in your hand, scenario 1. Scenario 2, when you're putting the fork to put the cake in your mouth. Scenario 3, when you put the cake in your mouth and are eating it. Or scenario 4, when you close your eyes and go within and forget yourself. When are you the happiest? Scenario 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4. What happened in 4? We renounced the object. We renounced the ego. We lost ourselves. And because we were free from the object and free from the ego, our self manifested fully and bliss was experienced.
I think the question is, what if you're at 3?
If you're at 3,
That's what I'm gonna say.
no, but now
I think it is
When you eat it,
you didn't. So let me tell you, everybody's trying to get to 4. That's why people do drugs. They're trying to get to 4. They're trying to lose that object and lose their sense of identity. That's why they're doing drugs. That's why people drink alcohol. That's why people like to get into flow. Because they want to lose the object and lose the identity, because when we are free of the object and free of the ego, what happens is the bliss of the self manifests. It's coming from here. When we renounce the object, we renounce the ego, that's when we feel the most bliss, not when we accumulate. You just think in your life, when was the happiest moment? When were the happiest moments? It's never an accumulation. It's always in renunciation. It is always renouncing. Why do you think we feel happiest when? When we sleep. That's direct proof. When we sleep, is there any object there? Is there any ego there? But we are so happy. We are the happiest when we sleep. Because the happiness is coming from here. We actually don't need objects. We don't need experiences. We don't need people. We just need to turn within and realize that the source of happiness is here.
That's so hard to accept.
That
I'm so used to so many things around me.
but this is the thinking required. Understand? This is the whole change of thinking. If happiness was there in the outside world, how many years have we been looking? And did we find it? What are we going to do? Keep looking. Correct. We will never find it. We'll never find it. Oh, good luck. Huh? That's why all these spiritual practices, what are they there to do? Just turn us within. That's all. Just look inside. All this karma yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, jnana yoga is saying, look inside. Yeah.
It seems as though, I think Vedanta says that karma, bhakti, ashtanga yoga are all preparatory steps to sort of get to jnana yoga. At least that's the way I've seen it written. But it feels like jnana yoga feels like the most private practice. It's not a practice that you can approach another human being with, because it's a very private practice. But it feels like if you have that first, then you can do karma, bhakti and ashtanga way better, because you are coming from a place of fullness every time. But it's always this, again, I think it's probably the evolution of how you get to this spot, but it's always, am I correct in describing that the karma, bhakti, ashtanga are viewed as preparatory practices to get to jnana? It feels like jnana should be at the beginning, but maybe we're not able to absorb it at the beginning when we first get aware of our senses. It feels like you knew jnana first, you'd be able to do all the other three and approach people and human beings and the world much more effectively. But it's always do the first three and then get to jnana.
Correct. You're right. So karma, bhakti, ashtanga are preparatory to get to jnana yoga. But you're saying if we got to jnana yoga first, we would be better at the other three. What it is in the beginning, karma, bhakti and ashtanga are practices to come to jnana yoga. When one is rooted in jnana yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga are natural. They're not practices. They're absolutely natural. That's why Swami Chinmayananda ji says that a realized person instantly becomes a lover of the world, a lover of the universe. Because once we know the self, giving is natural, serving is natural, loving God is so natural, being disciplined is natural. All of these things are natural. But in the beginning, it's a practice, and we have to go through karma, bhakti, ashtanga. Most of us will have to do that.
But why not teach the child jnana first at a basic level, because it's a relatively malleable state at the beginning, because you go through a whole journey with senses and all of that. Then you come into your middle ages and you're like, geez, where am I? And then you're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to get to. Feels like if we just start at the beginning, if my first teacher said, this is who you are, and then this is what's going to happen as a playbook, then you'll at least be striving from the beginning to separate real versus unreal. But somehow I don't know why society, the setup is like this, that first you go through absolute madness, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm now mad. I'm officially mad. Now I have to figure out why is this happening.
See, jnana can be dangerous for a mind that's not mature. Understand? So that's why even Arjuna, Sri Krishna says, here's a dose of jnana, but come to karma yoga.
Yeah, agree. No,
So-
that-
so
I
it
see-
is-
I see that.
Yeah, for a mind that's not mature, jnana can be misinterpreted in so many different ways.
So you have to wait for the mind to get mature first.
Yeah, but isn't there's a Purana where there's a mother singing, I forget the name of the
Ah,
it's a
Madalasa. She sings.
Madalasa sings directly to a child while he's in the womb.
That's very good.
And says you are you'll be given a name, you'll be given all this, but remember that you are. I feel like that's a great theory, but somehow we don't practice it like that. We immediately tell our children who they are. If we may not know, but that's the at least describe the setup. This is how it's going to play out.
But if you look at all of our practices, just look deeply into it. There is semblances of that you are Atman in a lot of them. We just didn't notice it. Yeah. So it's there, ingrained in our culture, actually.
It is.
Yeah. Did you have a question? Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll continue next week. Okay?